Do you ever find it difficult to quiet your mind when you're meditating? Well, I do too, and let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to talk about our meditation journey and our meditation practice as it is right now. I'm Jonathan. I am the founder of the Better Everyday Empowerment app.
And my name is Anne. I'm a makeup artist and a wellness coach. I help people build confidence and glow inside out, and also build the life that they love.
All right, Anne, why don't you kick us off? You are the meditation master at this point, so we can let you go ahead and start out with how you started and your meditation journey.
Okay, I wouldn't call myself a meditation master, but I do meditate every single day, and it's been like that for years now. To me, it is like brushing my teeth, but I'm still building up my practice to like an hour a day ideally. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, who has time to meditate for an hour anyways, the more you think you're so busy and you don't have time, the more you actually need to meditate. So I started my meditation practice about 8 years ago, but I, just like everybody else, was struggling in the beginning and was really struggling to get it to be a daily practice. I would do some days and then other days I wouldn't, and then I was really struggling to sit still because our world is so busy and everything is grabbing our attention at all times, and we're not really taught to just sit still. Especially in my family, like, you have to be doing and hustling and working for something and doing something at all times. And now obviously we also have phones, computers, distractions all the time. To me, why I started is because I was in a very dark phase of my life where I was really unhappy with my relationship, with my work, just in every area of my life. I was really depressed and I was at rock bottom. And whenever I was Googling how to overcome depression, how to help yourself in the depression, in the dark phase, everything was talking about yoga, meditation, mindfulness. So I was like, okay, if everybody's talking about it, and also I'm obsessed about learning like what people who have the life that I want to live do. And a lot of like masters of their minds and happy people or like successful people swear by meditation. So I was like, there has to be something to it. If every magazine, every article, every successful person says that they meditate and that helps them be happier, more mindful, more patient, kinder, more loving, and that's everything that I want. You know, start practicing yoga, and yoga teaches you a lot about meditation as well. If you go to like nice yoga places, not necessarily like expensive, but like the yoga teachers who teach beyond just asanas, meaning like yoga as movement and fitness. So I learned a lot about meditation, and I really, the more I read in the world of self-development and in spirituality, the more I went to yoga retreats, the more I practiced yoga myself, the more I really understood how important meditation is for the well-being of your mind, the well-being of your body. And especially now as a wellness coach myself, I really get it. Like, it's such a, like, stress ultimately is like the #1 killer, and it's like a root for all these chronic diseases in our modern world. So meditation is an invaluable tool to really help with stress. Not to mention, meditation is an incredible tool to recenter with yourself, to make sure you're living life in alignment with yourself, and to make sure that you're really honoring yourself and living in harmony with people, with yourself, with the world. And also when you meditate, and there's this technique that is visualization, which I've been tapping into more, you can really also manifest the things that you want in the world, you want in your life. It took me a few years to start meditating, and in the beginning I was using a lot of guided meditation, just, you know, finding something free on YouTube, just like something that I connect with. Now you also have those on podcasts, and having helps, like somebody say to you like what to imagine, what to like, background music really helps. And then eventually when I got more advanced, I started meditating in pure silence, or sometimes if I'm in the mood, I'll do like Tibetan bowls or some like Reiki music or healing music, whatever I feel connected to. These days I am back to doing guided meditation because I do visualization as well, and sometimes it's really hard for me to stay in my visualization for like full 10-15 minutes. So I'll use an app. I love your app. You really help with affirmations and visualizations, and like really helps you calm down. Sometimes you sit down and your mind is so busy. It's really helpful to have somebody with good voice and affirmations and like guided meditation to really help calm you down. In the last week or so, I've really gone into reading a spiritual book. Jonathan and I have been going to Dharma talks on Sundays, and last Sunday we were talking about something that I got really obsessed with, and it's called tranquil abiding. Just like that word, the two words make me feel so like goals, right? Like basically the goal is to have tranquility abide in your mind, in your body, and just, you know, emit that, right? So what I've been doing is reading my Dharma book, like a Buddhism book about tranquil abiding every single morning, and it's like just a half a page or a page, just so I, instead of thinking about our worldly problems and things, I come back to thinking about like tranquility, peace, mindfulness, kindness, compassion, and just cultivating the more virtuous thoughts, more like loving, expansive, and calming thoughts. And then with that, I sit and I meditate for about 15 minutes. I really want to get to half an hour, but sometimes it's like hard to find that time. And it's not even the time, I know it's ultimately your excuses. I find it hard sometimes for me to sit for half an hour. But you know, it's interesting because when I was in Costa Rica for a few months, in the beginning I really struggled to sit for half an hour, but I think eventually it was so easy. I would like snap in, and then the next thing I know, it's like an hour already passed. So I think every day we meditated for at least half an hour to an hour, and eventually you get used to it. So that's what I'm building my meditation practice to. And then at night, I also try to meditate, just so that, you know, it's easier for me to fall back asleep. Or I do morning and night, because sometimes in the morning, let's say if we didn't have time, if we go play pickleball and I didn't wake up early enough before, then like my morning meditation is gone. So I usually try to squeeze in during the day. But then if I also do at night, I know that I will never miss a day if I also meditate at night. Not to mention it helps calm my mind, especially if I just went out and talked to friends or just went to dance class, which can be pretty stimulating. And if I like ground myself in meditation, my mind calms down and I can sleep better. It was just a quick monologue.
That was a lot.
There was a long
monologue.
There was
nothing quick about that.
Not a quick, that was a long monologue.
You covered it all. I think you hit all the good spots. And okay, so for me, with my meditation practice, I was originally introduced to what meditation is and how to meditate about the same timeline as Anne, about 8 years ago. I have not been consistent at all with it since the introduction to it. When I first started, I found it very, very difficult to maintain focus, and it was frustrating to me because I couldn't quiet my mind. I would, like, you know, that inner voice in my head would say mean, hurtful things to myself. So it was like that self-deprecating voice going on. So I would avoid it almost altogether. And for years, every time I would say, okay, I'm going to start practicing again, I would try it and the same thing would happen, and I just couldn't really get it to work, so I just didn't do it. And then when Anne and I met, she encouraged me to, practice more, deal with it, deal with that uncomfortableness, because that's kind of the whole thing, is you have to push through that uncomfortable, let your mind do its thing, not try and force it, and get to that calm.
Yeah, I remember when we met, you were like, I don't meditate, I just want to watch, like your meditation, you were saying, I was like washing dishes and be really present with it. And it's true, meditation can take different forms, but there was also something so ultimately essential and like different about just sitting with yourself. Because I remember there was a quote that I shared with you: if a man can't sit still with his own thoughts or his own self, all troubles arise from a man who can't sit still with his own thoughts or something. Like, I'm
That sounds
butchering.
right.
I'm butchering the
close enough.
quote. But yeah, so and then we went to Dharma talks, and they really consistently shared the importance of sitting and meditating. And during the Dharma talks, we would be invited to sit and meditate, and Jonathan struggled so much. And I understand, I completely relate to having like the voice in your mind, like really bringing up the not pleasant things, but ultimately that's what meditation invites you to sit with it and bring up all of the past, really look at your past emotions and the trauma. You're sitting with the things that come up that you haven't processed, and that's okay. And you learn to observe it and not identify with it and just letting it go. Anyway, so
yeah. So back to my story. So she encouraged me to introduce meditation practice into my routines, and just as before, very uncomfortable to sit with it. We went to half-day retreat at the Dharma Center, the meditation center, and they give lessons in Buddhism and Buddhism practices, and then they have meditation sessions during those lessons, during the half-day retreat, during the regular lessons as well. And they're guided meditations, or they're like breathing meditations where they walk you through breathing exercises while you meditate. And that kind of got me rolling to the point where, okay, I can do this now. It just feels so much better when someone's guiding me, because I hadn't used guided meditations or breathing meditations until that point. So that's where I actually started feeling more comfortable after going to these talks more frequently and having someone there, and like the whole group energy, it just ended up becoming more of a comfortable environment, I guess, for me to like cultivate that quiet mind. Yeah. And then that actually, has encouraged me to put meditations in my app also. So I have the affirmations, and then I have the meditations also, and I even listen to my meditations to help guide me, and it's really good at whatever you're looking for. If it's grounding, safety, peace of mind, whatever it is, just you can put on one of those meditations and just 10-15 minutes bring yourself to that calm, centered state. And it feels so much better being able to do that now. And I'm far, far from perfect. I still struggle. I still have those negative thoughts. But I notice that when I do achieve that quiet mind in my meditation, even if it's for a short time, I feel better for prolonged periods after that. So just keep practicing and practicing and practicing, for me at least, is getting me to that point where I'm seeing the true benefits of it. So if you were in that place that I was, or if you're nervous about starting because you're anticipating that happening, just keep going, push through that the initial discomfort. Use the guided meditations if you need to start there, because it's truly the benefit outweighs that initial discomfort and then that little bit of discomfort that may linger around.
Yeah, and start small. Like, don't think okay, I'm gonna do 15 minutes every day now.
Yeah, no, that's unrealistic.
Yeah,
be gentle.
Yeah, breathing, just breathing, focusing on your breath for 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. And
then maybe increase it to 5 minutes. But I would highly encourage every single day, or at least a few days a week, and just make it a habit. It's just the same with going to the gym. You don't want to do a hard hit, HIIT workout with biggest dumbbells.
Yeah, you're not
gonna
go to the gym and try and squat 400 pounds the first couple times you go. You have to work up to it, and that's why ultimately it's called the meditation practice. You're going into this and you're practicing meditation. You're practicing calming your mind and bringing yourself to that calm center. So start very, very small. If you need to sit down and listen to a guided meditation for 2 minutes your first time, just do that. Or if you want to listen to, any type of guided meditation while you're just doing something normally to get used to hearing the words, just start small, something that's easily digestible for wherever you're at.
And one of the biggest obstacles and blocks to meditation I see for people who start out is they have a misconception that meditation is when you're not thinking about anything. And when they sit down, they close their eyes, there's so many thoughts that are coming up. They give up because there's no way I can't think about anything, right? So right away they give up. It's like saying like going to the gym and expecting a six-pack right away. Like, of course you're gonna give up if that's what you're expecting. The thing is that meditation ultimately is teaching you to practice realizing that you are not your thoughts. It's just observing your thoughts and being able to choose to just realize that you observe it and choose to come back to the present moment and to your inner essence, and not identify and get intertwined with everything you're thinking and get like caught up in the drama of your thoughts and your perception and the inner drama. You know how sometimes you had a conversation with somebody, you leave and the conversation is still going on in your mind. The conversation hasn't been over yet, even though you're no longer with that person, but you're going on and on. I should have said this. That person said that. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And you're driving, but you're not even present with where you're driving. Or you're with your children and you're like, my boss said this, I can't believe it. And then you're not even present with your children. So what meditation ultimately teaches you is to come back to the present moment and to realize that you are not your thoughts. So at that moment, you can catch yourself and like, oh, wait, I'm with my child right now. I have a choice of coming back to the present moment and engage with my child. That's ultimately the goal of meditation. And if one day, one moment, and if you get to practice to the level where you literally have bliss and emptiness in your mind, that's great. But that shouldn't be your goal from day one. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be your expectation from day one.
Yeah, I agree. Start small. And even like our teacher at the Dharma Center, she's saying, you know, even to the point where she's at now, she's been doing this for decades at this point, and she says, hey, you know, I'll sit down for a 15-20 meditation, and she can't quiet her mind. So if you sit down and you can't quiet your mind during your meditation, don't beat yourself up about it. Just try again tomorrow.
And what did you say about if a practice, if during a meditation practice, like a session, you weren't able to calm your mind? That is not a wasted session, because what you're doing, you're still building the conditions, you're still building the muscle to ultimately, eventually being able to calm your mind.
Yeah.
So if you sit down, I know sometimes I hear like other teachers say like, oh, if you're meditating and you're ruminating about other things, then it's a wasted meditation time. Obviously, be mindful of not using that meditation time to ruminate over your issues. Be aware of that and try to bring your awareness back to your breath, to visualization, or to whatever it is that the guided meditation is telling you to think about, right? But if you really were so stressed out during that meditation and you were still like not able to come to peace and groundedness, it's not a wasted time. It's the practice, the showing up that matters and adds up. I promise you it adds up. Because that's how I was able to build to a meditation practice now, where I do it every single day. I can't miss a day, because it's like brushing your teeth. Like, you can't leave the house without brushing your teeth. So the same thing for me with meditation now, and you'll get there. Just be patient with yourself.
And I got one tip that I'm gonna send you off with. And my therapist actually taught me this, so it's really good. I use this when I'm struggling. So if you imagine yourself standing on a train platform while you're meditating, you can visualize this. You're standing on that train platform and your thoughts are the trains that are going by through the station. If you catch yourself thinking about something, you have gotten